But the rest of the region, I think, is really ripe. The conditions that were there in 2020 when President Trump and Jared Kushner and I and a few others negotiated the Abraham Accords, those conditions are there today. Very strong America, very strong Israel, rock-solid connection and alliance between Israel and America, and a weak Iran.
There could be an agreement encompassing Gaza. It reads, this victory presents an opportunity for a dramatic widening of peace agreements. We're working on this with enthusiasm. Besides the freeing of hostages and defeat of Hamas, there is a window of opportunity here that we must not miss for even one day.
As all of this is going on, we also have Steve Witkoff, President Trump's special envoy to the Middle East, talking about maybe expanding the Abraham Accords. Listen to this.
We think we're going to have some pretty big announcements on countries that are now coming into the Abraham Peace Accords. And we're hoping for normalization across an array of countries that maybe people would have never contemplated would come in.
Of course, nobody would have predicted that Trump could have pulled off the Abraham Accords in the first place. Do you think that it's possible that we could see an expansion of them?
Oh, I think you'll see an expansion. You'll see it quite quickly. You know, before Iran unleashed Hamas against Israel on October 7, 2023, Saudi Arabia and Israel were very, very close to a deal. They both said so publicly. And that's why Iran unleashed this. They wanted a war between Israel and Arab countries. But now that Iran has been completely and utterly, militarily, politically, diplomatically, economically, financially, defanged, there's really no incentive for any other country to do anything other than peace in the Middle East, peace and prosperity.
Benjamin Netanyahu is, according to many leaks that are carefully calibrated in Israeli media about what's cooking behind the scenes, the talk is about normalization deals with countries in the region, something bigger, something more grandiose, something that Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu can claim as a win while sidestepping the issue of Gaza, of Palestine in general. And when it comes to Gaza, according to some reports, we're talking about a ceasefire, about an end to Hamas rule, perhaps even Arab participation in ruling over Gaza, but certainly ending the idea of Palestinian statehood. And that would serve Netanyahu's domestic purposes, because already we've heard commentary from the Israeli Minister of Finance who said that if in exchange for making peace or normalizing relations with Arab countries, Israel would have to accept a Palestinian state, the minister doesn't think that that's worth it.
How much do the Abraham Accords that were established in the president's first term now lay the groundwork? Is that the template, and does that expand?
Well, one of the president's key objectives is that the Abraham Accords be expanded, that more countries come into it, and we are working on that on my team and in coordination with the Secretary of State and the entire State Department.
We're working on Gaza, trying to get it taken care of.
Prior to President Trump's remarks, we sat down with a former agent for Shin Bet, Israel's equivalent of ASIO.
This supposed agreement by Netanyahu to end it within 2 weeks of those strikes.
Yeah.
Do you believe that he has done that?
Impossible. Yeah, 100%. He said, I want to go to take this victory over Iran, and when Iran is weak now, and I want to move forward.
Donald Trump, however, has not ruled out striking Iran again if Tehran is found to be enriching uranium to worrisome levels.
Would you consider bombing the country again?
Without question, absolutely.
That's where we were in 2020. We had Iran on their heels with backbreaking sanctions. Biden came in and he gave it away. I mean, he gave the mullahs, hundreds of millions of dollars. He turned his back on Israel. He made America weak, and the Abraham Accords, not surprisingly, went nowhere. But now we're back to that same place. We have a very strong alliance, and Iran is weak. And I would expect, watch Steve Witkoff. He's very talented. I would watch the Abraham Accords closely. I think they will expand to a number of likely and less likely Muslim nations in the region.
The president and his team, namely Special Envoy Witkoff, continue to be in communication with the Iranians and especially our Gulf and Arab partners in the region to come to an agreement with Iran. As for our alliance with the State of Israel and that friendship and that partnership between the United States and the State of Israel, I would argue it has never been stronger. And we see a new era in which perhaps some of these Gulf and Arab states can sign on to the Abraham Accords. That was one of the president's most signature accomplishments in his first term, and he'd like to see more of those countries sign on in this second term. And so we look forward to sustaining a long and durable peace in the region, and the president wants to do that through a diplomatic solution. But as he proved on Saturday night, he's not afraid to use strength if we need to do it.
But Iran coming out with a new threat here overnight that I want to read for you. This is from Iran's foreign minister. They say that the great and powerful Iranian people who showed the world that the Israeli regime had no choice but to run to daddy to avoid being flattened by our missiles do not take kindly to threats and insults. That statement goes on to say that if the Israelis or the United States continues to threaten them, they're prepared to show their real capabilities and hit back.
Very quickly, I want to put this up because you talk about the Iranians being untrustworthy. Here's the Iranian parliament chanting an old phrase. Watch. I mean, there you go. Death to Israel, death to America. It's kind of the same old stuff, and this is today. And you know, you talk about the proxies, right? Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis.
Now, clearly, there's been a lot going on in this region in recent days, and today an old war front flared up with Israeli air forces striking southern Lebanon.
The Assad regime in Syria is gone. Syria is having talks with Israel for the first time in 25 years. The Houthis are not messing with us anymore. So, you know, Iran can yell death to America, but no one else is joining them. They're increasingly isolated, and I think that gets us to a good place. Now, with President Trump and Netanyahu, look, they just went through a war together, right? They each staked their political capital. They staked their place in history on the outcome of these 12 days in June. They looked each other in the eye. They said, can you deliver what we need? And each performed flawlessly. And now, you know, the president says to Bibi, I'll talk to you in a couple of days. And he says, well, I'm a little jammed up. I got to sit in court and get cross-examined for 6 hours. And I think that's what prompted the president to say, you got to be kidding. I mean, you're running this incredible operation, and you're being dragged into court. And of course, the president knows better than anybody how the weaponization of the justice system could work. He sees the same thing in Israel.
This group has the ability to work together to create a historic opportunity for the Palestinian people and the people of this region. Some people have mockingly called this effort the deal of the century, but at its core, it is not just about making a deal. In fact, this effort is better referred to as the opportunity of the century, if leadership has the courage to pursue it. For a moment, imagine a new reality in the Middle East. Imagine a bustling commercial and tourist center in Gaza and the West Bank where international businesses come together and thrive. Imagine the West Bank as a blossoming economy full of entrepreneurs, engineers, scientists, and business leaders. Imagine people and goods flowing quickly and securely throughout the region as economics become more integrated and people become more prosperous. Over the next 2 days, I want us all to keep in mind the following question. Should we find reason to stay with the status quo, a broken system that favors few at the expense of many, or should we push together to find new solutions and fight for a brighter future filled with opportunity and hope? I know which one I want to choose.
Could explain a lot of things going on these days. Scientists, by the way, did try to intercept radio signals from this mystery object, but I didn't hear anything.
I was going to say we should run, but where are we going?
Nowhere.
We're kind of stuck here.
This isn't just anyone saying this. Astronomers at Harvard University are suggesting a mysterious object that floated through our solar system last year may have been an alien probe. Hear me out. The object, called the Oumuamua, which in Hawaiian means a messenger that reaches out from the distant past.
A space object that has eluded scientists since it passed through Earth in 2017 is now back in the limelight for its disputed origins. Called Oumuamua, the object has been pitched as many things.
A new government report is raising eyebrows across the country, especially among anyone interested in extraterrestrials. Our Alexandra Limon has the story.
Physicist and Harvard professor Avi Loeb says there's a possibility humans aren't the only civilization in the universe.
Whether we live in such a reality or not is not a philosophical question. We just have to look out.
Loeb teamed up with the Pentagon office that investigates unidentified aerial phenomenon, and they released this draft report that indicates it is possible that alien ships have already visited our solar system. Specifically, Loeb thinks the first interstellar object spotted passing through our solar system in 2017 that was given the name Oumuamua could be an extraterrestrial mothership. Loeb says Oumuamua didn't have the characteristics you'd find in meteors or other known objects.
We consider a possibility where an object as big as Oumuamua, which was football field size, is a mothership.
He says the mothership could have released smaller ships or probes to study our solar system after spending a long time to get here.
With chemical rockets, it takes less than 1 billion years to traverse the entire Milky Way galaxy.
Loeb says if Oumuamua was a ship, there likely wasn't life on it.
Here is NASA's manager for its Center for Near-Earth Object Studies. Take a listen.
This object is simply a piece of another solar system that was expelled, and it has been traveling through interstellar space for hundreds of millions of years, billions of years, we don't know.
NASA says this object will only be here for a limited time. Again, it's traveling at 40,000 miles per hour. In case you were wondering, the name Oumuamua is Hawaiian. It means a messenger from afar arriving first.
We detect some fast-moving thing in the solar system with hyperbolic speeds headed towards Earth, and then it rapidly begins to slow down. Oumuamua is the first visitor from interstellar space that we have ever confirmed moved through our solar system. So, because its orbit, its trajectory around the sun was not, quote, following Newton's laws, that meant something was affecting its trajectory. And some hypothesized maybe it's an intelligent craft. If there's not actual aliens on it, maybe there are active navigational tools on it.
This is the very first object that was discovered in the solar system that originated from outer space.
Scientists say tumbling through our solar system right now is this strange cigar-shaped object called Oumuamua,
which in Hawaiian means a visitor from far away coming here for the first time.
Harvard University professor Avi Loeb says the object was discovered last year. He says it's not a comet or an asteroid, and while there's no scientific proof, it could be something from another life form.
Could be a space debris from an advanced technological equipment that is either defunct or operational. We don't know. Maybe it's an reconnaissance mission coming to the inner part of the solar system to look around.
Like an alien ship?
Our suggestion is that it may be a light sail. A light sail is a sail pushed by light, just like a sailboat is being pushed by the wind.
Begs the question, do you think we are alone?
No, I don't think we're alone. I think there's a good chance that there's something out there for sure.
I think we're alone.
You just never know.
Professor Loeb says the object is now moving out of our solar system. It will take thousands of years to do so. However, he also says it's too late for scientists to find that object again in space with the technology we have today.
With conventional rockets, we cannot catch up with it. However, if we develop better technology for propulsion, we could potentially in the future chase it down and reach it.
That we are not the most intelligent civilization that ever existed.
Renowned Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb teaming up with the new head of the Pentagon's UFO office, dubbed the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. Together they say that interstellar objects detected in space could be signs of extraterrestrial life, and that current sky mapping technology like the James Webb Space Telescope could miss such objects.
It could have been a mother ship that released some probes in the habitable region around the sun. If we have a visitor to our backyard, we should observe it at first.
Professor Loeb now leading the charge to build better arrays of sensors to capture anomalies, but saying for now everything is hypothetical, and his paper is really meant to remind UFO hunters not to forget the laws of physics.
As much as the reports from military personnel are intriguing, and motivate my work right now. I want my instruments to tell me what is really happening.
Meanwhile, more videos surfacing showing odd objects have been leaked to documentary UFO filmmaker Jeremy Corbell, who recently released pictures of an orb shape over Mosul, and these images showing a cylinder flying over a rock. The Pentagon not commenting on the recent videos, but confirming prior videos released by Corbell had been filmed by service members. As for what they are, definitive explanations remain out of reach.
We observed it for about 6 weeks, very strenuously last year. So we collected a whole lot of data. And as has been pointed out by many astronomers, it generated what we call a non-gravitational velocity signature. That is to say, as it swung through the inner solar system and on its way out, it moved in a way that wasn't just explainable by its gravitational signature from the sun. What does that actually mean to everybody? It means that the object could have been outgassing like a comet. So, you know, if you've got a balloon and you open up the end of it, it sails off very, very quickly because of this pressure from the gas. Most comets do that type of thing as they move through the inner solar system. The snag was we couldn't see any outgassing from this object, and that has led to all sorts of speculation, like it was a big solar sail from an artificial intelligence.
But what exactly is it?
I heard that it is a probe that we discovered in outer space, and a couple of scientists from Harvard believe it may be from aliens.
Rebecca Sunday has her facts straight.
It's very different from objects that we have found in the solar system.
Chair of the Harvard University Astronomy Department, Avi Loeb, claims on the move through our solar system, Oumuamua didn't act like an asteroid or a comet. It did pick up speed.
There seemed to be an extra force that is pushing it.
Loeb asserts in a journal article about to be published that Oumuamua may be a fully operational probe sent intentionally by an alien civilization.
It alerts people to an interesting possibility.
I think there's probably something out there.
I think it's absolutely true. We're being invaded.
With certainty, it's not from our solar system, but it is from the Milky Way galaxy.
This object, very likely and very excitingly, came from a totally different solar system.
American Museum of Natural History astrophysicist Jackie Faraday says discovery of the alien rock back in October of 2017 caused the entire astronomical community to lose their minds a little bit.
We just kept watching it.
And confirms it was speeding up.
We know this kind of thing happens with comets.
As comets approach the sun, they start to burn up. It's called outgassing. It causes the comet to speed up and is visible to the human eye. But with Oumuamua, there was no visible evidence of outgassing.
That's the thing that makes us scratch our heads and go, but that doesn't mean you immediately decide it's an alien spacecraft.
What is this?
I think it's a comet that came from a different solar system, and I think that's amazing.
And there is strong evidence to suggest that the object came from outside our planetary system. When it was first spotted, many researchers, including Harvard University's Avi Loeb, posited that the object was an alien spaceship. Many others suggested that it was an asteroid or a comet. New findings published in the American Geophysical Union Journal now suggest a new theory, that the object is a piece of another planet, that too from a different solar system. Stephen Desch, an astrophysicist at Arizona State University, in a press release, said that they have resolved the mystery of Oumuamua, calling it a chunk of an exopluto. Essentially, a Pluto-like planet in a different solar system. They added that this piece of the planet must have entered our solar system in 1995, which we likely missed. Over time, it lost 95% of its mass and became its current size. The existence of Oumuamua was confirmed in 2017, but it was already spacing away from Earth at really high speeds. Owing to this, scientists only had a little to study the object. Now, Oumuamua is too far away and too dim to be observed for further study.
Finally, a Massachusetts mystery here. This unidentified object right there, flying in the sky, caught on camera, had one woman wondering, what in the world is that? Colleen McCormick snagged an 8-second clip of that aerial episode Wednesday night from her home.
I see something like falling down from the sky. It had like blinking lights and like looked like it was like on fire or something. And it was just coming down really fast. I had no idea what it could have been.
Well, she had no idea, neither did officials. The FAA, along with the Pembroke Fire and police departments, saying that they didn't even get any reports of debris in the area. It's still a mystery.
Where a woman says she was enjoying the pool Wednesday night when she saw a strangely shaped and unfamiliar object falling from the sky just over there. The whole thing now caught on video.
Then I look up here to the sky, I see something falling down, so I pulled out my phone and I zoomed in, and it was right about there.
Colleen McCormick was out by her hot tub around 9 Wednesday night when she says she saw something strange and unfamiliar up above.
I see something falling down from the sky. It had blinking lights and looked like it was on fire or something. And it was just coming down really fast. I had no idea what it could have been.
McCormick captured this 8-second video from her backyard showing an unidentified object headed straight down.
There's 3 things, so it looks like it's fire or a big light.
Expecting to hear a loud boom of some sort, she ran to the front of her home to hopefully capture the landing.
And my heart was pounding because I just looked up. I'm like, oh God, what is about to happen right now?
But McCormick says the blinking object quickly vanished from her view.
It seemed like it was coming down so fast. It was just it knows what it's doing. It just goes like that. I don't know. It's weird.
With having never seen something like it before, McCormick's mind went racing.
I thought it was some explosive. I don't know. Hopefully I'm not the only one that saw this. I'm not going crazy. I didn't see things, but I got it on video, so I'm I did definitely see something.
Now, the FAA was not able to comment on the video McCormick took, but they said they did not get any reports of debris in the area. Both Pembroke Fire and police said the same thing.
Last month, the heads of the military commands that defend North America told Congress some of the mysterious drones seen flying inside the U.S. may indeed have been spying.
But they did not say for whom. 60 Minutes has been looking into a series of eerily similar incidents going back years, including those attention-getting flyovers in New Jersey recently.
In each, drones first appeared over restricted military or civilian sites, coming and going, often under the radar. The wake-up call came just over a year ago in December 2023 when drones invaded the skies above our local Langley Air Force Base, resulting in training delays. Langley is one of the most critical air bases on the East Coast, home to dozens of F-22 Raptors, the most advanced stealth fighter jets ever built.
An eyewitness who was at his family's cabin on the James River in Virginia, about 100 miles south of Washington, D.C., took these iPhone videos of the objects coming and going for nearly an hour and a half. These are the only public videos of the drones over Langley. Retired 4-star General Mark Kelly was the highest-ranking officer at Langley to witness the swarm. A veteran fighter pilot, Kelly went up to the roof of a squadron headquarters for a clear view of the airborne invaders.
And with drones being spotted more frequently worldwide, Virginia lawmakers are pushing to strengthen the legal penalties for flying drones over defense facilities following the incident here at Langley.
The new White House press secretary has provided an update on those mysterious drone sightings in New Jersey. So Caroline Leavitt, she's the youngest White House press spokesperson ever. And she held her first press conference today. It was good too, about 45 minutes. It was lively. But she received the information directly from President Trump himself and confirmed the drones had been approved to be in the air by the Federal Aviation Administration, if you believe it.
After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy.
The fact that they say, research, and other things. Well, what are those other things? Those are the questions that people have. We still have no answers.
The mayor of Belleville, New Jersey, disappointed in the latest attempt by the White House to explain the presence of the drones. At one point, the FAA even imposed a temporary ban.
The FAA 3 weeks ago was telling us when they did the ban that they have the authorization to shoot down and use deadly force. Nowhere did they say, oh, by the way, it might be us, or by the way, we do know.
Just come clean with folks. What's going on here?
New Jersey Congressman Josh Gottheimer says now he has even more questions.
I'm writing to the FAA tonight to ask them, what do they mean by research and study?
Both the Biden and Trump administrations have reported that some of the drones were being flown as a hobby by private drone owners, and there was no threat from an enemy. Brian Boyd has more than 30 years of experience in intelligence and counterterrorism.
In a peacetime in our country, the real question is, what kind of research and for who?
Mystery continues to loom over America's East Coast as residents are reporting more drone sightings over their airspace. NTD's Sam Wong was out on the National Mall to hear from folks about their speculations.
Give us your best guess. What's your take on those mysterious drone sightings that's been popping up in the East Coast? Starting with you.
I'm not too sure, honestly. I'm from New York as well, so that whole area has been very weird with that.
I know someone knows what they are. I don't. Unfortunately, it's not me.
I mean, I haven't seen something like that's too big of a threat to our society so far, at least.
And I don't really know what's going on or if the video is AI created, but if it's real, I'm a little bit scared.
If this was hobbyists and stuff like that, you'd think that it would be something that's been happening, right? It wouldn't be all of a sudden we've got 10 drones all in the same space and everybody's noticing it.
Could be aliens, you know, you never know. I've seen too much in my life to rule out anything, honestly. So
what I was hearing is that it was Iran, but I don't think it's. I think Iran has too much on its plate right now in terms of what's going on just around in its own neighborhood.
If they were doing anything illegal, I think the FAA would be all over it. Either we're not being told something or it's all okay.
A lot of them look like, maybe that's just a commercial plane. I don't know. Some of them look kind of blurry. I don't really buy the whole aliens thing.
How are you guys reacting to those mixed messaging coming from different parts of the government?
It's a little bit alarming because you don't know exactly who's telling the truth and who's not.
Honestly, I'm sure someone knows what's going on. They're just trying to figure out how to tell everyone.
I don't feel like it's just as big as a mystery as everybody else try to make it out to be.
I'm not necessarily surprised. I think historically in the U.S. we've had a lot of, miscommunication between different government departments.
Maybe it's keeping, chaos safe, but maybe it's not just telling us the truth, to be honest, like as us as American citizens.
I haven't heard all the mixed messaging. Is it aliens? That's the real question that we should be asking.
There definitely needs to be an independent investigation. It's important that the skies over D.C., New York, New Jersey are clear.
The whole theory that I heard about the boat off the coast, right, and it possibly being a foreign entity seems a bit odd. You know what I mean? That is concerning. It's a bit odd that we can't get a straight answer on it.
It seems like they're just trying to cover something up, maybe a little bit. Like, if it's not government devices, what could it possibly be? It doesn't look like privatized, like drones or something like that.
But the rest of the region, I think, is really ripe. The conditions that were there in 2020 when President Trump and Jared Kushner and I and a few others negotiated the Abraham Accords, those conditions are there today.